Welcome to Digital Learning, an initiative by Directorate of Collegiate Education. In this session, let us try to have a look at the glossary, that is the difficult words to comprehend, and recapitulate the entire lesson, the last leaf prescribed for first semester BCom Language English. I am Nandana NG, Assistant Professor of English. The contents, learning objectives, session outcome, the recapitulation of the previous session, teaching of difficult words. This is very important because words are what conveys meaning, and the better we understand the meaning, the better we'll understand the story. We'll move towards presentation of the story, wherein the entire story is encapsulated, or in a nutshell we shall see the entire story there. Last but not the least, again we shall recapitulate or again try to sum up what we have learnt in the presentation. Short answer questions and then also multiple choice questions. Learning objectives of this session. Psychosomatic problems can be cured by treating the patient psychologically. Remember, illness can ail us both physically and mentally. But then at times, medicines not only help us, but it also, at times the determination of a person or an individual is most important than the effect of medicines. The learning objective that we can look forward to is glossary, or the meaning of difficult words. Let us try to assess all the difficult words in the chapter. The more we understand the meaning, the better we'll be able to understand the chapter. We'll try to encapsulate the lesson in a nutshell, and then coming to the testing part, as this is prescribed for the semester exam, we shall look at the important descriptive questions and also look at the important discussion questions. So in the session outcome, the students will be able to identify the relevance of language in literature. Through the glossary, you will understand how language plays a very important role, because it is through language that you understand literature. Only if you know English and its vocabulary, you will be able to read stories written in English. You will be able to comprehend. Comprehend means understand difficult words in the text. You will be able to recapitulate, that is summarize the entire text in a nutshell. You'll be able to enhance as in improve, increase your vocabulary, word power, and also strengthen or improve your linguistic skills. And later you will also be in a position to answer testing questions or questions expected in the exams. Let us try to recapitulate what we learnt in the previous session. In the previous session, we tried to define characterization and themes. So characterization is a literary device to highlight and explain the details about a character in a story. The character sketch of Johnsy, Sue, Doctor and Behram was dealt in detail. Theme is defined as a main idea or an underlying meaning of a literary work, which may be stated directly or indirectly. In fact, theme. Now look at the title of the chapter, the last leaf. The very significance of the title is very clear as to what the theme is. Last, something which is about to end, the sacrificing nature, death, everything. All these things can be seen in the course of the short story there. The various themes in the last leaf, like love and friendship, death, pessimism and optimism, self-sacrifice and hope, were all discussed in detail. Now let us focus on the glossary part. Remember, language is in fact, you can consider this is how I would like to say, language is a kind of a bridge. Only when you go across the bridge you come to your destination. So without that vocabulary, without the meaning to a particular word, you will not be able to understand the story with all its intricacies there. So let us try to understand or go through the difficult words in the story. Traversing, travel across. Gables, the triangular upper part of a wall at the end of a ridged roof. Pewter mug, a bluish grey metal which is a mixture of tin and lead. Chafing dish, an apparatus consisting of a metal dish with a lamp or heating appliance beneath it for cooking food or keeping it hot at the table. Chicory salad, a vegetable with white leaves that taste bitter and are eaten raw in salads. Bishop's sleeve, a long full sleeve usually gathered on a wristband and adapted from bishop's robe. Remember, the story is set during the early 1900s, and the way of dressing also is described, the way it is described, it will belong to the previous century. Congenial, agreeable, present. When everybody is in an agreeable mood, then you can say the atmosphere is congenial. Ravage, to bring heavy destruction on, devastate, damage. Ravage, the earthquake ravaged the entire area, that is destroyed the entire area. Might, it's a very informal word. Here in this context it means a young child, especially one deserving sympathy because he or she is ill or hungry. There are other meanings of the word might also that we shall come to later. Chivalric, it means polite, honest, fair behavior, especially shown by men towards women. Chivalry is something that is not to be seen in this century. Zephyrs, this actually is a literary term there. It indicates or describes the gentle, mild breeze. Pharmacopoeia. It's a book published usually under the jurisdiction of the government and containing a list of drugs. Next, swaggered. It's a way of walking. A way of walking. In fact, it can say that when a person is overconfident the way he walks. A way of walking with a swinging movement that shows that you are confident. Derision. When someone or something is laughed at and considered stupid or of no value. Confounded. Confused. When something leaves you confused, you can use the word confounded. Morbid, this word is prevalent throughout the story. Morbid is in fact it has so many synonyms. Gloomy, diseased, unhealthy mental attitude. Morbid also can mean deathly or something nearing death. Persistence, something which is repeated again and again, time and again, constantly repeated, continuous. Serrated, having a notched edge or saw like teeth. Janitor, he is a person who is employed in an apartment house, office building, school, etc. to clean the public areas, attics, and low rent places. Now let us try to present the entire story in a nutshell, or let us try to encapsulate the entire story in a small summary kind of a thing. The Last Leaf can be considered a story of supreme sacrifice. Sue and Johnsy, young artists, share a flat. They have a common interest of pursuing career as artists. But then destiny strikes. Johnsy contracts pneumonia and links her illness and deteriorating health with the falling leaves of ivy creeper. She has a pessimistic attitude and medicines do not help her. She firmly believes that her death is imminent when the last leaf falls. But despite the violent storm of the night, the last leaf is still clinging tenaciously to the vine in the morning. Tenaciously as in stubbornly. In fact, not only Johnsy and Sue, even the reader, we ourselves are surprised when we get to know that the leaf is still clinging there. Of course, we get to know later that it is not the how do I say, it is not the doing of Mother Nature, but yes, in one way it is the doing of Mother Nature. Johnsy finally realizes her mistake to anticipate her death. Due to her newfound will to live, she gets better from her sickness. Sue discloses to Johnsy that the leaf wasn't real and that Behram painted it. Old Behram dies from pneumonia after his great sacrifice in painting the leaf that can be considered his masterpiece during the violent storm that gave Johnsy hope. So, in the end, we can say that there is a proverb: hope is what keeps mankind alive. The entire story can be related to this proverb, hope. Hope is what keeps mankind alive, because if not for the hope that the last leaf gave to Johnsy, the young girl would have lost her life. And thanks to Mr. Behram and his self-sacrificing nature, Johnsy was able to live. Now this is the link to the movie that is available online. The last leaf is the entire last leaf can be seen in the matter of 12 minutes in an animation movie there. So I request you students to please have a look at it. Let us try to recapitulate what we learnt in the session. The last leaf, or the story Last Leaf, conveys an empathetic understanding of human relationships. Various human relationships were seen in the course of the story. Relationship between Sue and Johnsy, relationship between Sue and Johnsy with the others, relationship of Sue and Johnsy with Mr. Behram, relationship of Sue when she confides with Mr. Behram, relationship of Behram with the others, the relationship of doctor with the girls, etc. Various aspects can be seen there. Glossary: the difficult words, or trying to know the meaning of the difficult words so that the text can be understood much better. This leads to the most important conclusion: relevance of language to comprehend the text. I hope you have understood one thing: all the difficult words stated at the end of the chapter, the more we get to know the meaning, the better we are able to visualize, imagine, and understand the story much better. So the entire story, the last leaf in a nutshell, was just narrated. So all in all, O. Henry tries to tell us that psychosomatic is something related to both the mind and the body. Psychosomatic problems can be cured by treating the patient psychologically. We saw in the aspect of Johnsy that medicines were not affecting her because the illness was not only related to her body, but it had also started affecting her mind. Now, as this last leaf is prescribed for the semester exams, let us try to look at the expected questions. Short answer questions or paragraph answer questions are usually tested for 5 marks. It follows a pattern. Please follow the pattern of an introduction, a body, and conclusion. Any answer for that matter, be it 5 mark or a 10 mark question, make sure you follow the pattern of introduction, body, and conclusion. So the first question that you can expect is, describe Greenwich in your words. At the beginning of the story, Greenwich, the village, the haven for the Bohemian community where Sue and Johnsy meet, the artist's world is described. So try to describe Greenwich in your own words. What was bothering Johnsy as she lay on her sick bed? So you'll have to describe what Johnsy's thoughts were as she lay on her sick bed. How is pneumonia personified in the story? In fact, in the very beginning, we saw O. Henry has personified pneumonia as a male visitor who visits the village, and many people fall victim to it, including Johnsy. Write a note on the doctor's diagnosis. How did Behram save Johnsy's life? This is a very important question because the same question can also be expected for both 5 and 10 marks. For both, give 2 lines of introduction about the chapter and summarize, try to put in your own words how Behram saved Johnsy's life through his heroic efforts. The next question, what was Behram's masterpiece according to Sue, and why? Again, this seems to be related to the previous question. What was Behram's masterpiece? Painting the leaf on the wall there. Just writing that one sentence is not going to suffice. You will have to narrate all the circumstances that leads to that painting on the wall, and that becomes his masterpiece, and you will also have to relate the context there. The essay answer questions are usually for 10 marks. So the 2 expected questions from this chapter are, comment on the ending of the story, or try to analyze the conclusion. But before analyzing the conclusion, you will have to narrate the events that leads to the conclusion. Only then you can analyze the conclusion. The second question will be the most important one here. Justify the title The Last Leaf with reference to the theme of sacrifice. So try to analyze how the title The Last Leaf, as I explained previously, last refers to something nearing an end. How the last leaf is related to the theme of sacrifice in the form of Behram. So the entire story or entire answer can be of 2 pages, and it is for 10 marks. Now let us try to assess ourselves with the help of these multiple choice questions. What misconception had Johnsy developed in her mind? She was great, she can't be cured, she would die with the fall of the last leaf on the creeper, or none of the above. Of course, the answer is she would die with the fall of the last leaf on the creeper. Who was Behram? 60 years old painter, a 50-year-old man, 40-year-old man, or an young boy? Behram was a 60-year-old painter. What was Behram's masterpiece? By now it's ingrained in our minds. Was it a painting of Sue, or was it painting a picture of Johnsy, or was it painting a picture of a leaf, or all of the above? In fact, it was painting a picture of a leaf that became his masterpiece. What happened to Behram after he painted his masterpiece? Were he drenched and died of pneumonia? He felt proud and happy. He was honored, or none of the above? Behram sadly was drenched due to standing outside in the violent storm the entire night. He drenched and he died of pneumonia. What happened to Johnsy when she saw Behram's masterpiece? What was Johnsy's reaction? She felt delighted. She became confident that she could be cured. She jumped out of bed, or none of the above? She became confident that she could be cured. The references. Thank you.